meditation. I'm just going to ask you a few questions because I want to check in with you before we, take a break until the fall. Get a sense of where you're at. And especially those of you who don't talk very often, pop open here. What kinds of meditation, besides the ones obviously that we do in class here, what kinds of meditation have you done or are a part of your practice right now? Yeah.
I really like walking meditation because I can do it when I'm going to places. Usually people are thinking about all the things they have to plan, and when you're just there in every single step, it's like a really easy way to meditate if you have to walk somewhere anyway.
Yeah.
You just spend that time meditating.
Yep, I'm with you. I love walking meditation. Yeah. Is anyone doing the raisin? The raisin eating?
I don't do raisin, but I actually have found that I am catching myself when I'm eating. I will stop myself and just focus on taking a piece of my food and chewing it 100 times, and I find that the next bite is so much more flavorful.
Awesome.
It's incredible, the difference.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Stephanie, you were...
I guess kind of just like with the walking meditation, because my job's sort of kind of been boring. I've been like, so I tend to zone out anyway, so instead of like going off to like daydream world,
Yeah.
trying to kind of like get a little bit of meditation in there, because when like after my shift, I don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm. And what's the effect of doing the walking meditation, do you find?
So far it hasn't been as successful, just because I've been working for a lot of people recently, and it's very distracting.
Okay. Have you tried others?
It's progress.
Yeah. Have you tried anything else? Like other kinds of meditation?
I kind of tried to do like the chewing one, but like I just want to swallow. Like I'm hungry, I need to eat.
Right. Fair enough.
No, I've been struggling with the meditation thing, but
Yeah, it's pretty personal. Meditation seems very personal. Some practices really work for certain people and just don't make sense to other people. And it doesn't have to look like something that came out of an ancient yogi script either, right? What kind of things are you guys doing to get to that place where you feel like you can just quiet yourself a little?
I love the mantra that you shared. I think the first time we talked about meditation, when you say your name and you say, I love you,
Yes.
love you, support you, it's like that for me. It's like take a moment to be like, okay, this is me, this is my time.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, in the mirror?
Oh, no,
Do you
I'm
do it?
sitting there. But yeah,
Oh.
no, I can do it. I do it in the mirror too sometimes when I feel a little bit rough in the morning. I'm like, but I love you.
I love you. I love you. How can I support you? Yeah, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's a powerful one. Yeah.
actually, I guess kind of without thinking about it, sort of like with the sound stuff, like every once in a while, like I'll just put on like a few songs and just like actually, like not as background noise, but actually like listen to music I put on in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And just like ignore the world for that 2-3 minutes.
Yeah. I have a real sense of, there's certain artists or certain albums, right, that have this capacity. I think that a lot of the appeal of the Pink Floyd, The Wall album, is exactly that. It's a very trancey, meditative sound. Enigma is another one that was like that too, or Enya, or whatever that is, right? It's almost like this kind of rich, drawing out this very like stirring different colors of paint in your ears kind of stuff. Yeah, music is another really good one.
Speaking of that part, I know that we've both done the audiobooks where we're suggested reading, getting the audiobooks, and you get the opportunity rather than reading the book, listening to the book.
Yep.
It's been very helpful for myself.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
But I've been sort of like, I don't mind sitting and meditating. I actually do like doing that.
Yeah.
But I find it so much more helpful, like for things that I hate. Like I hate folding laundry and putting it away. Like I hate it. I'll do anything else and I hate it. I was having this conversation with somebody and just making myself aware that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put away. and just be in that moment, like, okay, now I'm folding again.
Ah.
I'm gonna put it away. Just being aware of doing those things that I don't like makes it actually more enjoyable, and I'm present then.
Yeah.
I'm not like, trying to get through it to get through it,
Yep.
which is making it a little bit easier, which is, I guess, some version of meditation.
Absolutely. Yeah. In a formal sense, that's called labeling meditation.
Yeah.
So like if you're sitting and you're having a hard time detaching from all the thinking, or the bug that I just spotted walking across the floor, you can just start to label the stuff that comes up. It's a way of getting out of being in it, right? And putting it out here and being like, oh, I'm inhaling. Oh, I'm feeling angry. Oh, I'm noticing that thing. Oh, my knee is hurting. Oh, whatever, right? And when you just label it, it just becomes this thing that you put a little bit more outside of you. So like you said, like, I hate that feeling of it.
Why do I hate it? Okay, so
Right.
I'm folding and now I'm putting it away.
Yeah, as soon as you
I
occupy.
hate you.
Yeah. And your mind is really only capable of kind of focusing on one thing at a time, really. So as soon as you give it the labeling work, it can't seem to really label and have that emotion of about it at the same time. Yeah. Yeah.
Same kind of thing with driving.
Mm.
That's kind of what I've been doing lately. Because I find when I drive, I think a lot, and I've just kind of been focusing on the actual driving. Because you should be paying attention. It's not that I don't pay attention, it's that I'm paying attention while my mind is going on places, what happened during my day,
Yep.
what do we need to do tonight, all that kind of stuff, and just focusing.
Yeah.
Going through the roundabout, and we should go next. And I have to go through a lot of four-way stops on my way home from work. And it's at the time school is let out, so kids are coming out, and who's going next, and the crossing guard, and really there's a whole lot going on. And
Yeah.
before I was just kind of like, da-da-da-da. I'm paying attention, and I'm fine, but now I'm just kind of like, okay, the kids are crossing, and so it's kind of helped because I don't like driving.
Mm.
Never really been a driver person, and now I'm just kind of like, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is where I need to go.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, and that practice of increasing your awareness of your thoughts can be, oh, bless you, can be really disorienting or overwhelming when you first start. Don't become discouraged by the practice of meditation if that's your first experiences in it as you start to immerse. For one, it might just take you a little while to find a meditation technique that you really feel fits you or works for you. And the nature of awareness and consciousness in the mind is very foreign to most of us, right? We're not really paying attention to how we pay attention very often. So when you first start doing it, it can feel really like, what the hell? And the more time you spend observing it, the more simplified it gets. The more you become aware that there's like probably half a dozen things that are just on loop in there, really. And once you can recognize that they're sort of collating into these categories, it becomes so much less of an overwhelm, or that sense of just it's so out of control, or I don't even know, how am I going to make any headway into this? That'll pass. Give it a little bit of time. Ooh, bless you. Man, what's going on? Okay. What effects do you get from meditating?
Peace.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
I was gonna say it's like it's much deeper, but honestly, a sense of calm. Like whatever was bugging me before, now I'm like, I'm okay. Like,
Yeah.
when you put on a distance and you actually see the situation, you're not that like stuck in your mind about it.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
I find it releases pain. Like my jaw will always feel better.
Ah.
Even if it's just the minute one that I'm doing, it'll always feel better. Even if it's just for like 2 minutes.
Beautiful.
Always. There's like, it's like a rule. It just always helps.
Yep. Yeah, and pain meditation, or meditation to affect pain, very interesting stuff. Very interesting to the medical community right now, too. There's a huge psychological component to pain, yeah.
I feel more like aware and connected to myself.
Nice. Love it. You could say negative things, too.
I've actually been practicing. the more I feel like I'm capable of tapping.
Yeah.
The more I allow myself the opportunity for meditation, the more I find like I'm able to understand not attaching to so many other things.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, there is, the stuff that yoga talks about, the sutras are sort of a collection of observations more than anything, right? It's their way of talking about what they were observing. So it's not like they were making this stuff up. It's like stuff was happening, and then they had to kind of talk about what that was happening. And I think what you start to find once you settle into a meditation practice that works for you is there really is a kind of innate wisdom and calm that's in there all the time. And what you do with meditation is you find your way to it. And then you don't have to conjure it. It's just available to you. And the more that you do this practice of coming to it and finding it there and going, oh, this is always here, the more you come to trust it and recognize that that's just always available to you. So it ceases to feel like, I think for a lot of us up front, we feel like we're doing meditation to make ourselves more calm or to make ourselves figure something out, or it feels a little bit forced. And once you start to recognize that really, if you can just do whatever you need to do, whatever it is that works, to just quiet, just shh, and get a little still, stay still for a second, and you'll see it's all there. It really is. Barring anything that would be beyond our current understanding as humans. If we've got, mental illness issues, or something where the wiring is not firing the way that it would in a normally functioning brain, whatever that is, that might come into play there. I just don't know. I don't know the effect that meditation would have if your wiring is different. But outside of those parameters, which I think also would be helped from friends of mine, for example, who have autistic kids, they'll always talk about how meditation is a huge help in that. I don't know if you come across that in school with kids.
Yes and no. It depends on the school you're at, I find.
Yeah.
The school I was at last year, I was there for 5 years, and I have my kids do the certification, and I actually did quite a bit with my students, especially when I had my own classroom. When I taught French immersion, I did go with them a lot of meditation. They really liked it, and I'm trying at my current school. It's not going well, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
They need it more than anything.
Yeah.
But I've really struggled with it because their behaviors are just completely off the wall, that they just can't control themselves. And
Yeah.
I'm trying, and I'm staying next year, and I actually found out that I'm getting a classroom for French next year, which
Oh, yay.
I'm super pumped about. So
Awesome.
I'll kind of get to create my own atmosphere, so I think that will help in me knowing them. I think it takes time with certain children.
Yeah.
And Lindsay probably has the same kind of experiences. Like it depends on the child, and it's hard when you have, like my grade 6, I've got 32 of them. Some are fabulous, but
Some just need more.
That aren't gonna do it. They're gonna ruin it for everyone else. So
Yeah.
that's the part I find quite challenging, because not like some people are gonna think, some of the kids are gonna think it's really silly, it's stupid, and I'm gonna cause things, and I'm gonna throw blocks across the room, and I'm gonna jump out the window, and I'm gonna smash a window, and so that's what I find really challenging.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get to all of them.
Yeah. And I think that the worst that you'll find is that meditation just won't be effective. I don't know that I've heard of situations, not that that's not possible, but I don't think I've ever heard of an attempt to get someone to do this, whatever the practice is, to get them to go a little quieter, where at worst, it just doesn't have an effect. But at best, there are positive effects of some variation. For some people, very dramatic. For some people, not as much.
I know it's like, I know in the classroom, because they're kindergartens, there's less they also don't have an audience. So when our kids are sitting and they're looking forward, the kids who are at the back and are having trouble with it, they don't have an audience to kind of play off of. So that takes away some of the behavior for the little guys.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've run yoga classes for teachers through the years, and a lot of those teachers are working with high needs kids, and they'll take what we do in our sessions and take it to the kids, and I always get feedback of like, oh, that meditation has really helped. And again, at worst, it just didn't do anything.
And I'm sure it does for some of them.
Yeah.
I think some of them realize that it helps, but then you've got kids who, like, I literally tried it this week. I've been trying all year.
Yeah.
To be, and some classes have adapted well to better than others, but for example, one of my grade 3s decided to, as we were doing this, run to the back of the classroom, get a wooden block and throw it in your kid's head, who was meditating, right? So it's
That's like,
I could, that's life, exactly. That sounds like life, actually.
so it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like I'll update as next year goes. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in everybody's practices. Like for some of you, this might be your first introduction ever to the idea of having a regular meditation practice. So if that's the case, especially if that's the case, there's this sort of paradox that you'll be in where you don't have a lot of preconceived notions of what meditation is going to be like. So you might just walk right into the deep end of that because you're not blocking yourself in any way, right? Like, oh, meditation, the path to enlightenment, sweet, here we go. Woo. Also, you might feel a little bit more lost because it's so new to you. And that can be on any variance for any of you. So I would say as we start to move into the summer and you start to explore some of these different practices, you start to settle on some that work for you, just give it some time before you say like, ugh, this meditation thing, if you're struggling. I'm hoping for most of you, you're finding that the more you meditate, the more benefit you're getting.
What is the best way of helping people sort of, I'm just going to say straightly, I don't know if that's word. For example, my father-in-law is a 84-year-old man who has prostate cancer, who's going through extreme bouts of chemotherapy right now, and it's not being successful. So they've just changed his chemotherapy medication, and it's not doing well. And he's having a very difficult time. And I've tried talking with my husband and saying, can we consider, like, has there ever been consideration to meditation, mindfulness? And I was basically affronted with that. Don't you think that's a little too late? And so it was sort of one of those things where it's like, well, how do you approach that? I mean, for me, it's like, it's a no-brainer. But how do you say that in a way where it's like, does anyone have any, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, you guys are going to have this challenge now after this course. You're probably finding it already where if you're finding that this stuff from the Yoga Sutras is resonating with you, you're seeing it everywhere, and you're kind of wanting to be like, oh my God, that's suffering. Like you're wanting to kind of call it out or give people these tools that you've picked up on, right? It's tricky to give people something they didn't ask for. I would say your best bet would be something like, let's just try it. What do we have to lose? Yeah. There's also, I mean, that's what you're talking about is rhetorical strategy, right? How do you persuade someone to do something?
Or even mention it. I mean, because he's an 84-year-old square, right? Like he would never ever think about anything to do with anything yoga-like, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, wait a second, it's not yoga.
Yep.
This is just purely take some time to not think about your meditation.
Right, and the John Kabat-Zinn resource is one way in because he's actually science-based.
Right.
So if obviously if he's doing chemotherapy, he's been going to a hospital to get help. He's open to a more classic allopathic scientific approach. So as much as you can put that approach into science, which is happening all over the place. I mean, science-based meditative pain reduction is its own huge category. So a lot of rhetoric is really about just choosing the language that people will hear. See if that works. And really the end result being like, listen, why don't we just do it once? Give it a try. If it helps, awesome. If it doesn't, I'll never mention it again. The promise of going away. Sometimes do it once and I'll never pester you about this again. Yeah. Okay. What do you want to get from meditating? Yeah.
I just find that, like I have a hard time sitting for long periods of time, but I find that I've been more aware in my present life, which is what I want more of. I
Awesome.
guess, because I've found that, especially with the eating stuff and the whole Instagram thing, it's going wirelessly.
Amazing.
Like actually being, am I hungry? Do I want this? Do I need this? Is this Instagram worthy? Like, as stupid as it sounds, it actually makes you think, and I find listening to your body is very empowering.
Yes.
And I want to feel that, like, 100% of the time. Which
Amazing.
is probably not possible, but I'm seeing it more and more, and it just feels like you're comfortable in your body,
Yeah.
which I've never really had before. So, more of that.
How incredible. Spending your whole life feeling empowered and comfortable in your own body. How better is that? Amazing.
So it may not be a sit-down practice for me ever. That's longer than 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
the daily thing is kind of what I'm looking for.
It's the same thing as postures. Right? Make the postures fit you. Understand what the purpose of those postures is. Because you can't just do whatever you want, right? But find out what the goal of the posture is, find out what your goal is, and then align the posture to your goals. I like that. Yeah.
I'd like to be able to kind of, I think where I struggle the most in doing any one thing is I'm the person who starts all sorts of things and then I very quickly go, oh, something else new, and then I kind of move off on that. I've noticed I've been, for whatever reason, I've been fairly tired over the past couple of weeks, and moving around the house, I'm just, like, I'm doing everything and not getting anything done.
Oh.
In respect to, and I've gone through cycles of this before, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but I find meditation helpful in the sense where I can sit down and do one thing for a little while, and I think that transfers into my day further, where I'm not just trying to think of everything and thinking about when I was asking you at the beginning, like, what do you do when you're meditating and you think of something and you need to write it down? And it's like trying to just kind of not think about everything that's going on in my life all at one time, because what if I miss something? Then,
Right.
because I'm not really getting anything out of any one thing. So
Yeah.
that's where I've been finding the benefit, is it seems to hang on a little bit longer every time I get that nice piece in the meditation, and it seems to transfer into the rest of my life.
Good. It's working. We need it more than ever, because that short-circuited fix is so prevalent now. We have so much information. It moves so quickly in front of us. Even just the simple example of social media, it's that you're on it for as long as you are, not because actually any one thing that you've looked at is all that captivating. It's like, what's under the fold, right? What's the next thing? As soon as I scroll, what you're waiting for that little notification bubble to show up. Oh, somebody clicked. Oh, what happened? Oh, somebody liked my picture. You know, like it's this, we get addicted to that. Like it's like candy, that kind of thing. And we just do it all the time in our culture now, because our culture just moves at that pace. Is it good or bad? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But what's the effect on you? And can meditation bring you something else that you might need or want? Like what really is the effect of you on, for example, being on social media? If I'm on that thing for longer than 5 or 10 minutes, I can feel that. I can feel that anxiety, almost, is what it is. It's like, I don't want to get off it, because what if the next post is something I want to read? What if the next thing, right? In this kind of low grade, and also it's an avoidance tactic. Anytime I'm somewhere where from 10 years ago till the beginning of human time, we would have just stood there. You know what I mean? Like we would have just been in a moment where there wasn't anything to do. God forbid we do that now. The moment we sit down with somebody for lunch and they're like, oh, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. What do we do? Oh, okay. Like as though we just can't sit and notice our environment for a second, you know? Just sit and relax. Let it turn off once in a while. What a gift. And I like it. I like being stimulated. I think our culture's moved in that direction because it's something we're good at. And it's probably something our brains are chewing on and trying to do, which is why it appeals to us. I don't necessarily have a kind of a dystopic view of that effect, but I think it's important to be able, with everything, right? Freedom comes from having that ability to engage in that and then come out of it and go over here and kind of choose what you're going to be in that moment. If you're sitting in that moment and someone leaves and you want to grab your phone and that act of trying not to creates a kind of suffering in you, that's when you got to know, like, you're not in control of that situation anymore, right? So that's when you want to be able to say, I'm going to just leave it and practice not doing it. If you can do both, now you're free.